Hi there, welcome back to Bible Basics on Dave's desk. We're continuing looking at different books of the Bible, and we've reached Lamentations, which is a book traditionally ascribed to Prophet Jeremiah, who we looked at in the last video. And Lamentations kind of does what it says on the tin. It's full of lament. In its original Hebrew title was How, which is the first word in the book. But it's trying to understand how it came to be that God's people have lost the land. They've lost the city he's given them, Jerusalem. They've lost the temple. How did they get to that place? How have they suffered so much? And it's a book of poems lamenting this loss and this grief at the defilement of everything that they thought was sacred and dear to them. And it's interesting that it seeks to describe the horrors of the fall of the city, of the atrocities that were done to its people of every tier of society who suffered at the fall of the city. But it goes beyond just the basic complaint type writing to a point where the writer's able to acknowledge that behind this suffering stands, in some sense, God who is having to challenge and rebuke his people because of their apostasy, because they've turned their back on him, because they've broken the covenant. And so that which was written in that covenant, that if the people turned from God, that they would lose their place in this promised land, that they would lose their stewardship of the land. So although there are cries for justice and cries for revenge upon the oppressor, there is also acknowledgement of cries to God for restoration, that it is God who needs to restore them, that turning, and trying to fight their way back on their own won't work. Only through God can they be restored to the land, because it is God's land. So the poem that starts in lament ends with a call on the Lord for restoration. The apex of the book is focused on God's goodness, it has a sense of hope, a sense of God's love, his faithfulness, his salvation and his restoration. And it's a reminder that in those moments when we're struggling, there are words in the Bible for lament. There are laments in the Psalms, and then this book is just pure lament. And so when we're struggling, we can go to the Bible and read it and find words that express our pain. But hopefully through that experience of lament, we will come to understand that God is still good, that God is still seeking to restore us to himself, and that God is the only person who can bring us life and peace. I hope that's been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye.